Welcome to Storytellers with a Message. This is where I share real stories about real people. I'm Lori Grant, and I'm committed to capturing the moments and lessons that shape our lives. Together, we'll explore stories that teach, inspire, and remind us that everyone has a story worth telling. Well, it's not very often that I'm left speechless, but I can remember a time when my reaction to something that someone said caught me so off guard, I simply had no words to respond. One evening, Tina and I went to one of our favorite little restaurants in downtown Fredericksburg. Because she was within walking distance, it was super convenient, and she went there often. I had been there a couple times as well. If you've not experienced historic downtown Fredericksburg, you would be in for a treat. It's 40 blocks of more than 350 original 18th and 19th century buildings. It's super quaint, and most of the shops and restaurants are small businesses that are locally owned and operated. At this particular establishment, Tina was on first-name basis with the owner and the staff. There were about a dozen tables at best, and often there were only a couple of servers working the floor. It was really a cute little place and kind of tucked away on a side street. Well, this Saturday, Tina and I had been out and about. Nothing out of the ordinary for the BFFs. I don't remember what we were up to that evening. Perhaps we had been hanging out at the little art gallery next door, or maybe we were headed off to one of our favorite music hangouts. The two of us were always on the go, and we tried really hard to fill up our weekends. I'm sure we split a salad and a meatball sandwich. I know you find it strange that I remember what we ordered, but it will make sense in a minute. Tina and I often shared a meal. Neither one of us really liked leftovers, and it usually was the perfect amount of food for the two of us. Well, this story is actually about the French fries that came with that meatball sandwich. So back to the story. We ordered, and our food came out in a timely manner. We split the sandwich and the salad and divvied up the fries. The service to this point was perfect. There was only one other occupied table, so it was a light evening's work for the server. We finished up our meals, neatly stacked our plates, and set them over to the side of the table to help out our server. A side note here about stacking our plates. This is something my daughters and I started doing way back in the days when they were servers themselves. They always appreciated the kindness of thoughtful customers that would stack their plates for them. So we made it kind of a family thing to do this for our servers whenever possible. Our server came by, gathered our dishes, and said she'd be right back with our check. So then we waited, and waited, and waited some more. I'm not talking 5 or 10 minutes. I'm talking about half an hour or maybe even more. It was odd. Her service had been spot on, and then she had just disappeared. We started to wonder if she was all right. We could see her other table was mid-meal, so she wasn't busy serving them. Where did she go? These were the days when to-go orders and online ordering wasn't really that big of a deal. Perhaps something had happened in the kitchen, or maybe there was a family emergency. It was so strange. Surely if she were about to rush out the back door, she would have said something to Tina. We weren't in a hurry, so we waited about 10 more minutes before I decided to get up and poke my head in the kitchen to see what was going on. Well, just as I stood to my feet, our server came out of the back. So I just sat down as she approached our table. This is what she said as she wiped her hands on her apron. "I'm so sorry it took me so long to get your check, but I had to finish your fries." Wait, what? At first I thought she was kidding, but she wasn't smiling. And we realized she was dead serious. Maybe some of you don't think this is strange at all, but in my little world, this took a few moments to sink in. Tina kind of laughed, and the woman said, "I'm serious. I had to finish the fries you two left on your plates." Remember now, we had actually stacked the plates on top of each other, putting our silverware and napkins and straw papers on top. I most definitely had no response and didn't find my voice until we left the restaurant. So here's my message. The older I get, the less surprised I am to find myself stunned by the behavior of other people. Every time I think I figured out the why behind something, 2 or 3 more questions pop up, and I'm right back where I started. Surely our server wasn't so hungry that she needed to finish the food on a near stranger's plate to survive. Or was she? How did she decide which plate to eat from and which ones to leave untouched? I'll admit, the whole thing made me stop and think for a minute. Well, one thing for sure, our sense of right and wrong and the things that we feel are acceptable and unacceptable can be driven by many, many factors. What may be normal to some can be completely out in left field for others. And this is why I find people so interesting and intriguing. And this is why I share my stories with you. This has been Storytellers with a Message. If you enjoy the show, please hit the subscribe button and leave a review on your favorite podcast app. It truly helps others find the podcast. And if you have a story to tell, I would love to hear from you. You can email me at storytellerswithamessage@gmail.com. To explore my children's books or learn more about my work, visit www.loriDgrant.com. Until next time, I'm Lori, wishing you joy and peace.